Ivan IV was born on the 3rd of September 1530. Ivan was the son of Vasily III and his second wife. When Ivan was 3 years old, his father died from inflammation on his leg, which developed into blood poisoning. Ivan was then proclaimed the Grand Prince of Moscow. At first his mother acted as regent, but she died of what many believed to be an assassination by poison when Ivan was only 8 years old. Ivan was crowned with monomox cap at the Cathedral of Dormition at age 16 on the 16th of January 1547. He was the first person to be crowned as Tsar of all the Russias. Prior to that, rulers of Muscovy were crowned as crown princes. By being crowned Tsar, Ivan was sending a message to the world and to Russia. He was now the one and only supreme ruler of the country, and his will was not to be questioned. He was also now a divine leader, appointed to enact God's will. The newly appointed title was then passed from generation to generation. Despite calamities triggered by the Great Fire of 1547, the early part of Ivan's reign was one of peaceful reforms and modernization. Ivan revised the law code, creating the Subnik of 1550, founded a standing army, established the first Russian parliament, and the Council of Nobles known as the Chosen Council, and confirmed the position of the Church with the Council of the 100 Chapters, which unified the rituals and regulations of the whole country. By Ivan's order in 1553, the Moscow print yard was established and the first printing press was introduced to Russia. On the 16th of June, 1552, Ivan IV led a 150,000-strong Russian army towards Kazan. The last siege of the Tatar capital commenced on the 30th of August. Under the supervision of Prince Alexander Gorbatshuevsky, Kazan finally fell on the 2nd of October. Its fortifications were razed and much of the population massacred. The Tsar celebrated his victory over Kazan by building several churches with ornamental features, most famously St. Basil's Cathedral on Red Square in Moscow. In 1556, Ivan annexed the Astrakhan Khanate and destroyed the largest slave market on the river Volga. As a result of the Kazan campaigns, Muscovy was transformed into a multinational and multi-faith state of Russia. The 1560s brought hardships to Russia that led to dramatic change of Ivan's policies. Russia was devastated by a combination of drought and famine, unsuccessful wars against the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, Tatar invasions, and the sea trading blockade carried out by the Swedes, Poles, and Hanseatic League. His first wife, Anastasia Romanova, died in 1560. This personal tragedy deeply hurt Ivan, and is thought to have affected his personality, if not his mental health. At the same time, one of Ivan's advisors defected to the Lithuanians, took command of their troops, and devastated the Russian region of Velikiy Luki. On the 3rd of December 1564, Ivan departed Moscow for Alexandrova Sloboda. From there, he sent 2 letters in which he announced his abdication. The Boyar court was unable to rule in Ivan's absence and feared the wrath of the Muscovite citizenry. A Boyar envoy departed for Alexandrova were conquered by Ivan the Terrible, who had Sloboda to beg Ivan to return to the throne. Ivan agreed to return on the condition of being granted absolute power. Upon this, Ivan decreed the creation of the Oprichnina in 1566. Under the new political system, the Oprichniki were given large estates, but unlike the previous landlords, could not be held accountable for their actions. In 1568, the Grand Vizier Sakulu Mehmet Pasha of the Ottoman Empire initiated the first encounter between the Ottoman Empire and its future northern rivalry. Early in 1570, Ivan's ambassadors concluded at Constantinople a treaty which restored friendly relations between the Sultan and the Tsar. In 1571, the 40,000-strong Crimean and Turkish army launched a large-scale raid. Due to the ongoing Lavinian War, Moscow's garrison was as small as 6,000 and could not even delay the Tatar approach. Moscow was set on fire. Ivan was forced to relinquish his rights on Astrakhan in favor of the Crimean Khanate. This defeat angered Ivan. During the 1571-72 Russo-Crimean War, Oprichniks failed to prove themselves worthy against a regular army. In 1572, Ivan abolished the Oprichnina and disbanded the Oprichniks. In an attempt to gain access to the Baltic Sea and its major trade routes, Ivan launched an utterly unsuccessful 24-year Livonian War of seaward expansion to the west and found himself fighting the Swedes, Lithuanians, Poles, and the Livonian Teutonic Knights. Having rejected peace proposals from his enemies, Ivan IV found himself in a difficult position by 1579. Altogether, the prolonged war had nearly destroyed the economy. He came to an agreement with John III of Sweden in 1580. In 1581, Ivan beat his pregnant daughter-in-law for wearing immodest clothing, transferring the Danish titles of Livonia to him, and this may have caused a miscarriage. His second son, also named Ivan, upon learning of this, engaged in a heated argument with his father, resulting in Ivan striking his son in the head with his pointed staff, causing his son's death. During Ivan's reign, Russia started a large-scale exploration and colonization of Siberia. In 1555, the Siberian Khan Yadigar and Nojaya Khan Ismail pleaded their allegiance to Ivan in hope that he would help them against their opponents. In 1563, Yadigar was overthrown and killed. Eventually, Ivan conquered Siberia. The conquest expanded Ivan's empire to the east and allowed him to style himself Tsar of Siberia in the Tsar's very last years. Ivan then died from a stroke while playing chess with Bogdan Belsky on the 28th of March, 1584. Upon Ivan's death, the Russian throne was left to his unfit and childless middle son, Fyodor.